All right. I went ahead and killed it early because general consensus is 30 seconds is just too long.
That's 30 seconds of my life I'll never get back.
Yeah, but you're talking to a guy that plies his trade in radio, and everything I do is in 30-second increments.
So that's what your wife says.
Fair enough.
How you doing? I'm Mike, and as always, here with my
Ron.
brother. And
I'm Ken.
And we've got some special guests with us tonight. Below me, and it was funny because I said we can go almost Brady Bunch here. Below me, that's Ron Jr. That's my brother Ron's son.
I'm Ron.
Yes.
And this is Ken.
And there's Ken.
So everybody's heard the stories of Kenny Hall, and he actually exists. He is not a figment of our imagination.
I'm here this evening to defend myself.
And hope to hell there aren't any statute of limitations that are still there.
You got that right.
And
So tonight we're gonna kind of maybe wrap up some of the conversation about how are we still alive. But I thought this is a great segue into having Ron Jr. here because he's my son, so he's kind of like in the middle between what me, Mike, and Ken knew when we grew up. Then you had him, and now he has two young boys. So it's going to be a great segue into then and now. So, Mike, what do you got?
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. Can you start over?
So the last thing we talked about were the Kawasaki Ducksters, and I think Ken, you remember those damn things. Whether it was the Ducksters or whether it was any of those big three-wheel
did you ride one?
I've never.
You ride it, Ken?
I don't think I did.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Matt, how are you?
For some reason, I'm shocked.
Yeah, everybody else rode them, except the guys who bought them.
Shit, everybody else rolled the damn things.
Yeah, well, maybe I did, but I was drunk and don't remember.
There you go. I think with the Ducksters, I think we left it off with the right story. And if you weren't with us last Thursday, we lived in an apartment. My wife and I lived in an apartment complex up on just past Fillmore, right below the Sunbird restaurant. And I went to go to work one morning when I was working at KRDO. And as soon as I got in the car, I realized something didn't look right. And the thing that didn't look right was the heavy chains and big locks that I put on those things were now on the ground and they were missing.
Look, there's my wife in the background.
What's the holdup?
So we were kind of talking prior to starting the show. Is we kind of think maybe God sent somebody to steal the three-wheelers from us so that we might live.
Hey, Mike. Michelle just said that we're not on Facebook.
Oh, it says we are.
Yeah. Okay.
We better double check. Keep talking, and I'll double check because it
tell me what to do.
Did you just tell me what to do?
As Zuckerberg found out I was going to be on.
Wasn't that guy banned?
Right? Yeah.
All right, we're good. So
35 states now.
Let's take a quick minute. I'm gonna take advantage of the youth in the group here of Ron Jr. So Ron, tell us a little bit about when your kids go out and play or you're doing physical activities. What are some of the differences just in what you remember growing up as a kid that are different with your kids that you didn't have to deal with when you were younger?
Oh, I mean, there's just a ton that's different. I'm honestly, I don't know where it began because we're like in the middle. The millennials are like, we got a little taste of how you guys were raised because we were just getting into the technology, and then then we got introduced to the technology, so we kind of have that side as well. So that's kind of formed our parenting, and given us some more information on like, don't do this with your kids, don't do that with your kid. It kind of makes you think about things a little bit more. So I think now it's like if they go out, first thing I'm telling them is, hey, get back inside and grab your helmet, and I'm like, and you're not going past a certain point where I can't see you, too many TV shows and like movies with like crazy, know? And it's so like all this information now, like you're freaked out. You know, it's not like before there wasn't all this info and all these crazy ass TV shows and you know, freaking you out. So it's like I feel like parents before were like, yeah, just go out and play, whatever. You know,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, now like I said, like you know, you watch something and kids are missing, and you know, it's just weird shit's happening at someone's house, and it's like now you're just that's always in the back of your head. So you're like a little more anal, I would say today.
And you know what, Ron, you hit it right on the head because I remember even when you were a kid, like when we were living in Tahoe. Yeah, you got to kind of have free reign of the right. neighborhood, but I never let you get out of my sight. So that's a good point because I remember, and Mike can and everybody else can attest to this too, dude. When we left the house at the end of the day, we were gone. I mean, nobody knew where we were at, what we were doing, what time we were coming back. Matter of fact, I was at Ron's house like a week or two ago, and the boys were outside playing, and they both have little phone watches.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Hey, get your watch. Check in here. Don't go there." You know, and I started cracking up laughing because I'm like, it's funny because I couldn't even imagine that when I was a kid.
No, absolutely not. You know.
Yeah,
I'm not even sure I had a watch.
It's different now. Well, that's the thing. Yeah, they can't. And so that's the other thing. And I kind of got a little taste of that when I was growing up with Dad. It was within whistling range. You know,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you hear the whistle, we're good to go. But you know, now it's like my kids take off to a neighbor's house. They have a T-Mobile watch. So I'm not doing the cell phone thing where kids are walking around 5 years old, 6 years old with a cell phone.
No.
It's not going to happen. But I do want to be able to know where they're at and contact them. So they have watches on. So I can text them and call them, you know, and we can stay in touch. So
now, do those have a tracker capability?
Can I ask you this?
They do. They do.
Go ahead, Mike.
Wow. No, I was just because you really got me thinking. One of the things we talked about a little bit at work today, it wasn't part of the show, it's just something we talked about in the hallway. Of course, we're getting ready to head to, you know, Halloween's just around the corner. And so we were talking, you know, when we were kids, obviously, I remember leaving the house barely in some kind of costume, but I had a pillowcase. And my goal that night was to bring the pillowcase back home full, dump it, and run back out.
Amen.
And, you know, nobody cared. I mean, we had roamed all of Village 7 to go get as much candy as we could.
Of course.
And, one of the young ladies at work mentioned, you know, she's that's, you know, I just wondered. I think the reason why is because I did a spot for somebody doing a trunk or treat, and I think I age myself when I say, you know, God, what the hell is a trunk or treat? You know, and so I even asked.
It's a chick you find in your trunk.
I wondered out loud, and Ron Jr., you can answer this. What is there any value into celebrating or observing Halloween anymore? What is Halloween today compared to when these other three were young?
I mean, for us, we go to my dad's neighborhood. His neighborhood is stacked with people, so we just go there. We walk around with them, and that's it. But it depends on, you know, I don't know. I'm not sure how festive people were back when you guys were kids. But I mean, now people get crazy now. I mean, they got people changing their garages into haunted houses with strobe lights. And
right.
We have a street down the street from us that we used to live in that part of the neighborhood. And the first year we moved there, I stopped counting at 400 kids that we had come to our door.
Oh my gosh.
And we used
to get quite a few here, but I don't think anybody has come to our house on Halloween in probably 5 or 6 years.
Well, now where we live now, we're literally about 6 blocks over. I think we got 6 last year, maybe 5 or 6 kids last year.
Yeah, I live right in Oro Blanco, and that's a busy street now. Excuse me, and I think I got maybe 20 or 30, and I don't give out candy anymore. I got caught in a spot a few years ago. It's like ding dong. It's like crap. It's Halloween. I don't have any candy, but I got $1 bills.
Hey kids, you want some gummy bears?
They're 24. They're still coming back.
Yeah, I come to your house.
You guys giving out cash,
right?
Back when you guys were trick or treating, I mean, there's no way there was as many decorations and lights and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Oh, not really. Yeah, it's
No, not too much. Just
the decorating
how
stuff nowadays is way different.
how many houses can you hit, and what are they giving out?
Amen.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
I'm sure it's the same way now. You knew the neighborhoods that were giving out the full size candy bars.
Right. We'd head down down Oro Blanco up on the left hand side there. I can't remember the streets, but the bigger houses, that's where we would go.
Yeah, down like
that's not where
Whimsical
we
and
would
up
hit.
that area there.
Right.
Now think about this, guys, and Ron Jr., you'll understand this. Okay, so if we go back to the days we're talking about, but the caveat is we have access to smartphones to ourselves. Can you imagine? One of us, we can work it in crews, dude. We can say, hey, over here on Scenic, these people are giving out, Hershey's, da 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 da.
Right.
How cool would that have been?
Because it's like, where are the popcorn balls, man?
That's right. Popcorn balls. Screw that crap. If it isn't chocolate and
Your
Yeah,
apple
right.
baked like cookie, you big ox.
so what about candy corn? Does anybody really I don't mind candy corn.
I
Yeah.
absolutely,
I love
I
candy
absolutely hate it.
Candy corn.
Yeah,
gets a
I'm
bad
with you,
rap.
Ron. I'm with you, Junior. Yuck, man.
You
Yeah.
kidding me? It's like a little packet of sugar of joy.
It is a packet of
That's
sugar.
terrible.
It's an oxymoron.
And this is coming from a diabetic. I mean, I love it.
Oh,
Oh
Lord.
my!
We got anybody else
so,
online there? We got
here's
anybody
an
else online there,
update.
Mike?
We are being viewed on both Facebook and YouTube.
Nice.
I see my Corey Obermeyer there is my neighbor down the street. He's another young buck that's got a couple of young kids and can
Howdy,
probably
Corey.
appreciate the conversation that we're having. He's
Hey, get
the
Corey
same age
on.
as Ron is, but yeah, he's got two little boys the same way, just hair on fire and sleep. That's the only two speeds that
Right.
So, but I mean, we were no different when we were kids. I mean, the neighborhood we grew up in. I know a lot of you that watch don't know where we grew up, but we grew up in Colorado Springs, an area called the Village 7 on Debonair Circle, and it was just Mike and I talk about this, and I hate saying the term. It was just a simpler time back then, man. It's like
It was.
your friends were your friends, your enemies were your enemies, and you knew who they
Mhm.
were. And we've all been friends. Well, Mike and I have been friends since we've known each other. And then, but Ken, you've been around us for it's got to be
1976, I believe.
It's got to be 45 years easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, but your guys' connections were all in person. You know what I mean?
Right. Yes.
A lot more personable, a lot more social. Like now, I won't see some of my friends. We're just kind of following each other. Oh, I saw what you did last week.
That's a great point, man. That's
a great point.
Yeah, because and Mike and I talk about the whole social media thing, and I dig it. I'm into it. The businesses that I have, I depend a lot on social media, but that's a good point, Ron. I mean, our friends and our relationships that we had back then were just that. They weren't based on technology, and they weren't based on FaceTime. They were based on pressing palms and hanging out with each other.
Yeah,
And-
exactly.
I try to do some of that because
There are
we
only
have.
two factors. One, and I'm sorry, Ron,
Okay.
you need the only thing you needed was you had two ways of communicating. One is by phone. I mean, the actual hanging on the wall phone, or you took off to their house and hoped the hell they were there. And if they weren't, screw it.
Yeah.
See, I got-
No, they're over at Harmony Bowl. No, they're up at this guy's house. No, they're over at that guy's house.
Yeah. See, I got a little bit of that. We lived in Lake Tahoe for a while, so it was actually a pretty good spot to grow up, and still was able to have a little bit of that freedom. Knock on the door. Technology wasn't where it is today. It was a home phone. If they didn't answer the home phone, you didn't have it. But with the boys, with my boys, I try to. This neighborhood that me and my wife just moved into, it's like a breath of fresh air because they have all these kids on this street, all these neighbors, and they get to just run over to their house and play, and they run over to our house and play, and they run down the street. Our last neighborhood, there was nobody was there every day, or they just didn't talk to each other at all.
Wow.
So this neighborhood is kind of that, like, to me, like a 90s throwback neighborhood. So they're getting that personal feel with their friends, which I love.
Well, and the thing is, Ron, like Mike and I have talked about before, and I hate to beat a dead horse, but social media, my personal opinion, and don't get all feathers ruffled about it, but everything is instantaneous with it. There is no waiting for anything. The information is right now. The contact is right now. There's a car accident on the street and somebody's friend gets killed. Everybody knows about it right now.
Right.
Yeah.
And I just think it's a little disheartening that it takes away from the personability of life and of growing up.
Yeah, like we already all know. I like what Corey wrote down here. He said, "Look at the neighborhood and find out where all the bikes are in front of the house." And
that's right.
That's how we do.
That's how
exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, we were those kids. And if you guys watch, the memes that some people will put up on social media, Facebook, whatever. I know there's a group called Growing Up in the 60s and 70s. And every once in a while, they'll put up some memes. And I just think, holy shit, we were those people. We were the kids that were making ramps out of scrap pieces of wood and cinder block and jumping over our stupid sisters because they were dumb enough to lay there.
They're dumb enough to lay in the road.
Nice.
God bless them.
Trust me.
Sybil would still do that today.
Sybil was awesome. Sybil was
alcohol is a great invention.
Sybil she hasn't changed a bit in 45 years, man.
Hey, which have you guys seen the new Netflix movie called Old Dads?
Oh yeah.
Not yet.
Oh my god, dude!
With Bill Burr.
Yeah, it is us right there. It is it might even be Ron because he was raised by me, so I know how kind of fucked up he is. But yeah, it is just hilarious. It is everything that we're talking about, and this cat's trying to raise kids in today's day and age, and is just like damn near a caveman, for lack of a better term, to the way social things work today.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just. Sometimes I've just had it with the way things are supposed to be politically correct and socially correct. It's like, come on, man. Back in the day, we were kids. I didn't care if you were black, white, pink, yellow, whatever. If you were cool, we're cool. Let's go play. Now
this is an unfair question because it's going to take Ron Jr. out of the equation. But for you guys, think about this. Do you remember, Kenny? Did your mom talk politics around you? Did you know if you had money problems? Did you know if mom was struggling at all?
No.
She didn't talk politics. I knew that we were broke because I had plastic shoes.
And see, I think,
and my friends are running around with Nikes, and
same thing.
We were going to Kmart, so she didn't discuss it with us, no, but I understood it.
And I think I was the same way. I don't know what it was like for Ron, but it was easy to tell. I always, in fact, Dad and I had a chance to talk about this some years ago, and I just told him, I said, Dad, was Village 7 a little bit out of our league? And he said, yeah. And it was just a deal that they couldn't pass up. The story of that house, I don't know if you guys knew what it was, but long story short, the people that owned it before we bought it, the husband was working on the Alaska pipeline. Wife found out he had himself a little thing going on up there, and decided to sell the house for little of nothing. And so Ronnie Telmosay is the one who contacted us. Man, do I have a deal for you? And so the next thing you know, because I think Daddy told me that at the time he was only doing like about $10,000-$11,000 a year.
Oh my God!
Yeah, can you imagine? I mean, think about
that house was probably $35,000 or $40,000 back then.
Yeah, and back then it was a shitload of money.
That's insane to hear.
So,
but you know what, Mike? Remember we found when I don't know if you're calling it, but we found Dad's tax returns for 1 year, and it was like $12,000. And I'm like, just think about that now, and I'm like,
but you thought you were rich.
Yeah, but you know what the thing is I can remember as kids, I can visually remember I never wanted for nothing.
No, we didn't want
it. I didn't know any better. And in today's day and age, the kids, and pardon my French, but kids are just fucking spoiled a lot of times these days.
Very much so.
Everything is just handed to them. Everything, and they have that air of somebody owes me something. Well, fuck you. I don't owe you anything.
Well, that falls back into what we were talking about earlier with just the constant flow of information. You guys, like there was nothing for you guys to compare to other than school and your home. Like now, they're just constantly seeing things on TV, constantly seeing things on social media, people being rich and fancy, and they have this
Right.
that device. So it's just you're just getting inundated with all this
Good
thing.
point.
Kids are seeing all of this stuff, and they're like, "Oh well, I'm supposed to have that." I need that. I need to have the best iPhone. I got to have the best Nike shoes. Like they can't have time. They're so focused on looking the best and having the best shit, and like they just can't have. It's hard for them to even have fun.
Well, it's like Ron said about having kids like 5-6-year-olds walking around with $1,300 iPhones.
It's ridiculous.
Right.
For what?
Yeah.
Based on that, I almost just want to say, here's a shovel. Go dig a hole in the fucking backyard.
Yeah.
I mean, and we're living
We had fun for like 3 summers with that hole.
Oh yeah. So for those of you that don't get that, so Ken Hall and his family lived across the street from Mike and I, and we used to do some dumb shit when we were kids. And one of the dumbest things we ever did for some reason, and before we came on camera, Ken and I were talking about it. I'm like, Ken, do you remember that big hole we dug in your backyard? He's like, yeah, of course we do. And Mike's like, why'd you guys dig that hole? He's like, because we could. It was just that dumb, and his mom was pissed, and he said something that reminded me, and I didn't remember it until he mentioned it. He goes, yeah, she was mostly pissed because we cut through the phone line.
That phone line was only like 4 inches deep, so that's their bad.
You guys weren't even deep. Yeah, exactly.
That's on Ma Bell.
Regulation size or what?
Things should be 4 feet under.
Wow. Did you just
that kind of stuff that just today, how many kids do you know that are 12, 13, 14 years old that want to go dig a 5-foot hole in their backyard for no fucking reason?
Well, first of all, it would require going outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Do you have a building permit for that hole?
It's
Yeah. Oh Lord. That's a whole other issue.
Fortunately, Hank Hill doesn't live around here.
No kidding. Holy moly.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. That's
Well,
she made us fill it back in.
Yeah, I do recall that. I was there for that.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. You guys done this well. You can get your ass out here and dig it back and put it back how it was.
Right.
I won't say it was like it was, but the dirt was back in the hole.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha, yeah.
So Kenny's
We had to dig another hole to fill the dirt.
Yeah. It's funny how everything
have to have
happened.
the dirt put back. What'd you do with
Right.
Everything happened in somebody else's yard. Never happened. I think the biggest thing that I can remember happening in our yard that Dad actually was okay with, and Mike, this was a you story. It was a radio contest, and it was something about the biggest sign or whatever. And when we were kids, if we wanted firewood for our house, what did we do, Mike?
We went to the mountains with Dad, cut down the trees, brought it home, and we became the wood splitters.
Amen.
Yeah.
It almost cost Mike a thumb one year, but we split the wood, we cut it, we stacked it up. We'd have like 4 or 5 cord of wood. Dad sell a little of it, and we'd keep the rest of it. So one year they have this contest on the radio, and Mike had this great idea of he took the cut logs and he spelled out the call signs of this fucking radio station on the roof of our house out of split logs. I kept thinking in my mind, Dad's gonna fucking kill him.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure you can see it when you turned off of South Carefree onto
Oh
Oregon.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because back then, where the trees where they are now, you could see our house.
But yeah, you can't see anything because of the trees now.
Yeah. But I did, and I kind of forgot that story. But yeah, I thought Dad was
wow.
Because I think I ended up winning.
You did win.
And that's sort of part.
It was a 7-foot tall Frankenstein.
That's fucking thing.
Sorry, everybody. That's you have to watch the previous episode.
Oh God! But that's kind of how I got started in radio, because I remember the same station, and I think it was KXXX. This is the one that used to be down. Down by King Supers where Shakey's Pizza used to be. I think it's Pikes Peak. I can't remember what the streets are, but there's a golf course there. Anyway, getting way low. So I won, and I can't remember what I won from there, but they would give away T-shirts. And now remember, we have I think we finally ended up getting a push button phone, but for a while we had the rotary. And this station would always, be caller number 5 and get yourself a t-shirt. I bet I won 8 or 9 shirts. About the last one I won, you can hear the guy on the phone going, you're like, it's you again. In that moment, I shit you not. In that moment, I thought, ooh, I want to be on that side of the.
He's like, I want to be that guy.
Yeah.
And now, if you guys remember, I wish Matt was Matt's still here.
Is he on?
We had a little football team, and we called it. Wasn't it the KIKX?
15 KX Cougars.
Yeah, the Cougars. And we used all those shirts.
Remember that shit.
We had white shirts, and there was in the Sunday paper they had the iron on it. We went around stealing people's Sunday papers so we could get enough iron-ons for the whole team.
Nobody does that shit anymore.
Oh shit! See, this is what I said. We gotta have Ken Hall on because that dude remembers there. He may have been high the whole time, but he remembers.
Right? Once in a while. 15 KX Cougars.
Yeah, it was.
my
I mean,
God.
we were the 50KX Cougars. And,
Mhm.
That's great.
oh Lord, that was just hilarious.
So we got Matt Rogers. Matt, how you doing, brother? Cousin Matt. He's often part of our stories as well. Wasn't Kissin was another radio station.
There was another one, yeah.
Yeah, KYSN, but that was another station back in
Story
Colorado.
about Kissin is way many years ago. I used to call them and I'd ask, hey man, I want to be a DJ. What does it take? And there was a guy there named Joe Myers was there, and Joe Myers would eventually become one of my teachers in college. Him and Kirk Rowe. But there was also a guy that did the morning show there named Tom Turcotte. And so they said, you know what? Can you get your mom or dad, somebody bring you down to the station, let you hang out for a little bit? I said, well, yeah. So mom takes me down there and leaves me. Now this, again, a totally different time. Mom takes me and leaves me at a radio station with a bunch of guys we don't know. There you go. Fend for yourself, idiot. And so,
I don't know how it works out for you, bud.
so what they taught me is they taught me how to slip cue a record. So I went from one record to the other. So they can go outside and blow herb is what they were doing. Because remember, back then songs were like 2 minutes and 40 seconds, 3 minutes.
Right.
Well, some years later, I think we were in Tennessee, and I happened to be reading something about Colorado Springs news. Turns out Tom Turcotte was something of a drug dealer and ended up getting murdered.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was go research it. Yeah, Tom Turcotte, and
I remember the name.
Yeah, he got caught, and I don't know if they killed him, if it's like the cartel or whoever it was. Yeah,
you don't mess around with the Colorado Springs cartel.
Yeah,
he's a little bit bigger than fennel seeds.
I want to call mom and say, "That's who you left me with. Are you happy?"
Mike's like, "Are you sure?" Mike's like, "Are you sure this isn't oregano?" Because that's what I used to smell.
Oregano and fennel seeds. I remember that.
Do you remember doing that one?
Oh yeah, I do.
Shit.
Now I will tell you, we don't have time for it, but one of the some of the funniest stories, and I know you're tired of it, Kenny, and I'm sorry.
No, you're good though.
But some of the funniest stories that I share that concern me and Kenny, and also concern a third party.
Oh, guess who it is, Kenny?
David Oler?
No.
Chad Lasha?
No.
There's so many of them.
How about Uncle Wally?
Oh yeah.
So Ron Jr., just so you know, Uncle Wally never existed.
He didn't.
Uncle Wally wasn't real, but Uncle Wally bought us some good shit.
Lots of stuff.
Uncle Wally.
But I had to
bought everything. Where'd you get that backpack? Oh, Uncle Wally bought it for me.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I remember that.
Uncle Wally, and it was just funny because there was a like a hobby shop or something over in the Mall of the Bluffs.
Yeah, Howard's Hobby Shop.
We would stand there and eyeball, models and whatever, and we would actually sit there and say, "Do you think Uncle Wally will buy this for us? Do you think?" And the whole time we were like, Uncle Wally's buying it, man. It's already been purchased.
It's good. I'll create a diversion.
All we got to do is get out of the.
You see what Michelle said, Mike? He says, "At 5, I was like the OG Dora the Explorer." I would pack a backpack and head for the Paseos. Just needed to be home when the streetlights came on. Now, mind you, she grew up in Southern California,
Right.
so that's like a whole different world back then. At least
Right.
you didn't meet like Richard Ramirez or anybody.
Right.
But seeing
Yeah,
she calls
right.
you-
That
And now
you
she's
know
like,
of.
I would never allow Elena to do that. I'm like, yeah,
No.
I would never
Hell
allow my
no.
kids to do that either.
Ron Jr. like she'd know, right?
No, yeah, but it is. I remember a story with Ron Jr. and I. We were at the. I don't know if you remember this or not, Ron, but we were at the Black Mountain Rec Center shooting hoop, and you were maybe 12 or 13 years old, and we were walking home. It was that close, and I had a little flip phone at the time. And I was talking on the phone as we were walking, and I hung up my phone. I put it in my pocket, and I just kind of started to chuckle. And he's like, "Hey, Pops, what's so funny?" I'm like, when I was your age, I couldn't even imagine walking down the street talking on a phone.
right.
And now it's just commonplace. I remember, Dick Tracy with the little antenna on his watch talking on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Or
We thought, wouldn't that be cool?
yeah, that'd be cool, But you think about it, okay? You guys remember going to the grocery store back in the day? Remember when they first got those automatic doors? And they
Yeah.
open and close? All that stuff comes from TVs, from movie. Everything that we
Right.
have today started off in TV or movies or somewhere else. And
Then I need to watch Who Wants to Be a Millionaire a whole lot
you
more,
should, because I want to be one.
because I want to be
Yeah. I
Is
want to
that
be one, but
identifying as one.
they say you
right.
can't
That's all you have to do.
you can't
today.
take it with you, and I'm doing a great job.
It's like my Uncle Jack says. He goes, "Hey, I was born with nothing, and I have pretty much most of it left."
But that's actually a great way to put that.
Right.
So
I told my kids, man, when I die, you're going to get invoices.
yeah,
Be ready.
I'm stealing that one.
My wife sent Ron Jr. something like a week or so ago because I have a construction company, so I'm a bit of a hoarder. I have just shit everywhere.
Oh,
Let's put it that way.
sure.
So she sends Ron this fucking Instagram or whatever, and it's a dad and a son standing at this storage shed just full of crap.
Oh, she posted that shit. I saw
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And the dad's all like, "Yeah, son, when I'm gone, this is all yours."
Yeah,
Clean out.
and then
to
Michelle,
clean out.
Michelle, when that happens, all your dreams will come true because I will be throwing it all away.
Hey, fucker, it's already empty. I emptied it last week.
Oh man, it's out of here. It's out of here. I'm done with it. I'll do one of those bulk auction sales. You know what I mean?
Right.
You sell my shit, I'm gonna haunt you. Just so you know.
What are you doing? What does it matter?
So, Ron Jr., how old are your sons?
7 and 9.
Do they have cell phones?
No, they just have the watches.
Oh, the
And
watches.
the great thing
Okay.
about the watches is they can put in who they can, and just whatever numbers they put in are the only ones that they can contact. Michelle, I love you, son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's pretty good. That's really good, actually.
And I'm telling you right now, that's going to be it until they're like, probably like 16, 17, 18. I just
So
don't.
they get a job and buy their own stuff.
Don't find the need. I don't find the need for it because they have the watch. I get to put in their contacts. I know where they're at. They can text. They can call. There's no reason for them to have access to the internet. That's just where
Right.
Wow.
That's when
I
your kids
need
start-
to ask.
That's pretty good.
I just need to ask.
That's great.
Ron Jr., you are you're blowing my mind. Who the fuck raised you?
Listen, Uncle Mike, it was a mix of experiences.
I'm going to tell you, he's a perfect example.
Parenting.
He's a perfect example of I want my kid to be better than me, right, Ron?
Oh, dude.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, dude.
See, this is what
And
I
he
thought
did
we
it.
were going to see.
Yeah.
Look at Michelle.
Oh, dude, you know that was coming.
I knew that was coming. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and definitely, Michelle, she had a good hand in some of the good things. With my dad, it's always an adventure. So I got a lot of life
Right.
experience. So it was good. A lot of life lessons, and then I don't know. You know what? Something did hit me in the head one day. I don't know what it was. Remember, Pops? I called you and I was like, I gotta do something here. And then ever since then, a switch just kind of
there was a lot of we like to call those aha moments.
Yeah.
Where it's just like,
Yes.
oh, okay. And I'm gonna share a real quick one because we're at 34, but whatever.
35.
We go long. Fuck it. But when Ron was a younger man, just like the rest of us, made some bad decisions and hung out with the wrong kids. And my statement was always, tell me who you hang out with, and I'll tell you the kind of person you're going to be. And Michelle found a suitcase full of items that did not belong to him.
She didn't find
under his
it.
bed.
I showed her them.
Oh, okay. You
Yes.
shut up until I'm finished. And so and she's like, we're gonna take this down to the Goodwill, or we're drop it off somewhere, whatever. He's like, oh yeah, man, we can sell it. We can get this and that. But it ended up he was going to his mom's house. Shortly around that same time, and so she didn't tell me about it. So we put him on the plane and sent him out. Then she tells me about it. Probably saved his life more than once. And but anyway, I think that was one of his aha moments, because he got sent to his mom's house in Reno, and he was dating the woman that he's married to now. And they've been together since they were 15 years old.
Yep.
Awesome.
And it was one of those things where, and I have to tell you, I was so proud of you when you made this decision, because he called me. Well, first off, he tried to man and be like, Pops, we gotta talk man to man. Don't call my mom and tell her we talked about this, But the first thing we did was called his mom. But anyway, long story short, when he came back, he was a completely different person.
Wow.
Made a conscious decision to make the changes in his life to be the man that he's become today. And I love you for it, Ron. And you are a spectacular young man, and I can't even express to you how much I love you.
I appreciate it. I love you too, Pops. I love you too.
Yeah,
it wasn't always so polished, Uncle Mike. Okay, it was definitely had some rocky stories for sure.
Oh, I'm sure.
I would have kicked my own ass if I'd known me now.
I would say the two things that saved him is, one is Michelle, and two, he runs faster than I do.
Yeah, right.
But I have to tell you,
he runs faster scared than you do mad.
Yeah, I got a really good one when I was being a complete idiot when I was younger. And I used to, I would sneak out, and my thing was like, I'd sneak out of the house. I had the downstairs bedroom. I had the nice side window. I could just get in and out of there, no problem. And and these guys were very trusting, God bless them, and they leave their keys around. So I grab, pick what car I wanted to take, and I'd go out the side, and I'd take one of the cars. And I was like, I'd take the car, I'd take it down, I'm go see, my girlfriend, who's my wife now, and Michelle that night woke up to go check on me.
No. Let me correct you.
Oh, no. Oh, hold on. Okay. No. I got it. I remember now. I was in the car, and my phone had been pressing up against, like, I don't know, the seat or the side panel or whatever.
Yeah.
It called Michelle. At
2 o'clock in the morning.
1 a.m. So she wakes up. She's like, "What the fuck's going on? Why is little Ron calling me? Why it's late?" She goes downstairs in my room, and I got the pillow body set up. You know what I'm talking about? The pillow body. And then, she wakes up. She wakes up my dad, and so I see, and then I feel my phone ringing. Okay, it's 1 a.m. No one's calling me, and I look at my phone, and it's my dad. And I look at my wife Cecily, and my girlfriend at the time, and I was like, "This isn't good." I said, he for sure knows his truck. We
got to get out of the country now.
I answer the phone, and he said, "Bring my fucking truck back now." And that was it.
Oh.
He hung up, and I was like, "Oh, this is it." I told her, I said, I'm probably not going to see you. I said, "You're probably going to send me back to my mom's house in Carson." And it's who knows? I'll let you know. So I go back, I park it across the street, and I was like, "Hey, your car's across the street," and he was like pulling into the driveway, and so I pull it in the driveway.
Like, "I'm not pulling over there."
Yeah. You're there.
I pull it in the driveway, and then he's outside, and Michelle's out there making sure he doesn't kill me, and then she kind of pats me inside, saved my life, and we talked about it the next day. But that was an oh shit moment when I knew I was caught as soon as my phone rang and his name was on my phone. I was like, oh man, my heart sank.
I bet. Yeah, that's busted 101 there.
Oh, busted big time.
Yeah.
Busted big time.
Oh, well, the next we'll have to have you on next time. We'll tell some more stories of that same genre.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Very fun stories. We could,
Yeah, I'm sure there's more than one, huh?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, plenty.
Yeah, the time he tried to swipe my 350Z and realized he couldn't drive a stick shift.
That was a good one.
Oh, shit.
That was a good one. Hey, that was a real good one. My buddy kind of walked me through that. It was like living in the Matrix. You know? It was like over the phone. Like my buddy was Morpheus, and I was Neo, and I was just trying to figure out how to drive this damn
Put the
stick
car
shift.
in
And
reverse.
you're trying to drive a stick shift. Come on, that's the last one you want to try to learn on with that much torque.
That's funny.
350Z.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I was stalling all over the place. It was embarrassing.
You probably could have stole a 74 Pinto stick.
Yeah, I would have stalled anything. I
That
didn't
was
know
a
I was doing. I'd
loosey-goosey
never
car right
driven
there.
one. Never driven one before.
Well, hey guys, it's 6:40 p.m. here, so
Yeah.
we're a little over. But hey, I just want to say thank you so much, Ken Hall, Ron Jr.,
Thanks for having me.
Mike. This was fantastic. I love you guys with all my heart. God bless.
Love
all
you
of
too, brother.
It's just
Yep.
been. This is one thing that I say all the time, and I'll say it again. I brought Mike into this kicking and screaming, and I guarantee you he loves it just as much as I do.
I look
Nice.
forward to Thursday nights now.
Love it. This is awesome. Thanks for having me as well. This was great.
Hey, love
Yeah,
you
it was a
guys.
blast.
Okay.
All right, guys, we'll see you next
I
time.
didn't get to cuss as much as I needed to.
Ah, fuck
Yeah, watch your
you.
fucking mouth. This is a family show.
Thanks, guys, for having me.